Boston and New York, so we have a growing number of people that would have the opportunity to come and visit our fair state and contribute to the nearly $15 billion industry that tourism provides here for the state of Connecticut. So the purpose of the caucus is together in a bipartisan way recognize that every corner, every district in our state is touched by the benefits of tourism. And how we can come together so that in this environment here that we find ourselves, how do we maximize these multipliers to not only grow the industry, but to grow our fiscal situation in the state to a point where we can continue to move the state of Connecticut forward. So the caucus overall has heard from industry professionals in the past, from state agencies who may finally collaborate with like-minded groups, chambers, tourism professionals. We want people as tourists to come to the state. But when they're here, we want them to enjoy all the wonderful arts and cultural programs that we have, the small museums. So I want to thank you again all for being here. I'll give you all a minute to introduce yourself and say what district you're from, and then we'll have...
Cohen. I am representing the 12th district as a senator, and that represents Madison, Guilford, Branford, North Branford, Killingworth, and part of Durham.
Hi everyone, I'm Christine Palm. I'm the new state rep for the 36th district, which consists of 4 beautiful Connecticut river towns of Haddam, Essex, Chester, and Deep River. And I want to be an advocate for tourism as an economic driver and as a way to improve the quality of life for all of our citizens.
So Representative Kate Rotella, I represent the 43rd, which is Stonington and North Stonington. And in Stonington is Mystic, and we have Mystic Aquarium and Mystic Seaport, and many, many other things in our district. So,
hi, Carrie Wood from the 29th, which is Rocky Hill, Newington, and Weathersfield, home of the Dinosaur State Park, the Rocky Hill to Glastonbury Ferry, historic old Weathersfield. Hi everyone, my name is Irene Haynes. I'm the state rep for the 34th district, which is East Haddam, East Hampton, Colchester, the most beautiful district in the state of Connecticut. That includes the Gillette Castle and Goodspeed Opera House. Tourism is obviously very important to my towns and all of us in Connecticut, and we all need to work together and make this even better. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Representative Tammy Zawistowski, representing the 61st District, which is Suffield, East Granby, and a portion of Windsor, and home to most of Bradley Airport and the recently reopened Old Newgate Prison. Yay. Here's is working with other organizations and attractions in North Central Connecticut to develop synergies so that we can work together and actually make a new place for people to visit, to have weekends, things like that in North Central Connecticut, which I think has been underappreciated for a number of years.
I'm Doug Kavinsky. I represent the 47th District, which is the towns of Chaplin, Hampton, Scotland, Lebanon, Lisbon, Canterbury, Sprague, the other part of Notch, and Franklin.
My name is Mike France, state representative for the 42nd District, which is Ledyard, Preston, and Montville, which is the only operational one still in its original site, as well as the Nathan Lester House, which is 1700 vintage farmhouse, open for tourism as well as using for weddings and other major events. And I think the other area in the region that hasn't been talked about is actually the Thames River Heritage Park. That certainly has been successful for its first few years. I hope for its continued success and then expansion further down the river to other locations, as well as the water taxi that has been put as part of them.
Good afternoon, Pat Boyd, the 50th House District, which is the towns of Woodstock, Pomfret, Brooklyn, Eastford, and Union, up in the quiet corner of the Last Green Valley. Numerous Bigelow Hollow, Natural Nipmuc State Forest, Yale Forest. There's a lot of good stuff, and people don't often think of my part of the world. The agriculture communities, there's quite a bit up there. We want to be part of the conversation.
I'm Kathy Austin, and I represent the towns of Marlborough, Hebron, Lebanon, Columbia, Sprague, Franklin, Norwich, Lisbon, Ledyard, and a piece of Montville. And I would say that there are all good things in the community of Norwich, where I grew up.
Good afternoon, my name is Heather Summers. I am the senator from the 18th district. I represent Groton, Stonington, North Stonington, Voluntown, Griswold, Sterling, Plainfield, and Preston. And I have the honor between two towns, by the way. It's part of Groton and it's part of Stonington. We are home to the Mystic Seaport Museum. We have the president here today. The Mystic Aquarium. We also are home to the submarine capital of the world and the USS Nautilus with Griswold, Connecticut, which has the largest state forest, Patchogue State Forest. And I am a big advocate of tourism. I always should be the goal to really empower this legislature to do something to change the course of Connecticut tourism.
Thank you, Representative Joe Aresimowicz, Stratford, 121st District. We have Two Roads Brewery. We have the future home of the Connecticut Air and Space Museum to take advantage of Stratford's aviation history. Of course, we have Sikorsky, the home of the birthplace of the helicopter. We have our helicopter museum, but I'm on my knee here for a reason because you all saw what happened last week in my town about the Shakespeare Theater burning to the ground. Albeit it hadn't been open for quite some time, but we were just starting to plod along with forming a nonprofit. And
I'm Wendy Berry. I'm the Executive Director of the Southeastern Connecticut Cultural Coalition. And by the way, we represent arts, culture, and tourism. We love all the towns. We care about all organizations, small, big, and large. This goes on. So we don't play favorites with our children. We represent all of them in all of your districts. But just a brief overview of what our task was. Stephen and I were called a few days before Thanksgiving and asked to drop everything for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And being given 8 questions by the Lamont Vicewitz transition team that we were to then provide a policy memo of 2 pages in length with those 8 questions. We had some incredibly rewarding discussions that we reported out to the public and to the press at good speed on December 17th. We got it down to 5 policy recommendations with actionable items for the governor to consider. In the end, online, you'll find on the governor's new website, all 15 policy committees have their 2-page memos are uploaded there for you all to see.
Our first investment strategy are taking 10% of the lodging tax. My name is Stephen Tagliatella, co-owner of Sabre Point Inn and Spa in Old Sabre, Connecticut, and recently developed the Tourism Coalition, the Connecticut Tourism Coalition 4 years ago. So our first investment strategy is to reallocate the existing lodging tax that's deposited into the tourism fund from a current 10% to 25%. with defined allocations for 40% for the arts and 60% for tourism. We'd also like to see the name changed from the Tourism Fund to the Arts, Culture, and Tourism Fund. So why are we recommending this? Well, we think that exponentially we can increase jobs in the economy. We're not only a shovel-ready industry, we're actually a revenue-generating industry ready to go right now. We can put money back into the state coffers almost as quickly as you can advertise all these wonderful assets that we just talked about around the state. You know, our data shows, and it's the very most conservative data, is a 3-to-1 return on investment. So every dollar you invest in tourism marketing, you get $3 back in state tax revenue, not economic generator, nothing, state income back to the state. And the 7-to-1 for the arts and culture. So if we get the 25% of this marketing fund, we will generate $150 million in tax revenue. Rhode Island has a 13% lodging tax, and 6 of those 13 points go back into tourism marketing.
The Office of the Arts and the Office of Tourism and the State Historic Preservation Office have not worked as collaboratively as we could have in the past, but this has kind of spurred that and allowed conversations that haven't taken place in the past to happen now. And we've done this through the lens of arts, culture, and tourism. And we would even say that with this group and a lot of arts people here, this caucus would benefit by becoming an arts, culture, and tourism caucus as well to match that with the funding. So the other part of this investment strategy is asking for more dollars that come from that lodging tax revenue to be going into the tourism fund. Is also to think about how we can have more diverse and stable funding through other potential dedicated sources. The problem has always been that our funding has gone up and down. The rug is pulled out, it's put back in, it's here, it's 1 year. So any kind of sustainable and consistent funding that's predictable for organizations who rely on predictability would help us all. Because Connecticut has underfunded all of these areas for years. And this fiscal year alone, the lodging tax will generate $130 million, as Stephen said. And most of that, 90%, goes into the general fund. While the arts is actually part of the local communities, arts organizations who are working in terms of neighborhood revitalization. So it's a win-win-win across for arts, culture, and tourism together. And
I wasn't sure how it's still revolutionary applied to some of the destinations in Connecticut, or if it was ever expressly tied to any of those destinations. Well, I'm not sure that they were all ready to be part of any marketing campaign, because I'm not sure they're all developed. And I went to an exhibit at the Mattituck Museum, an artist who kens it, and I noticed that everyone who had signed in seemed to be from New York, and it turned out that particular exhibit had been reviewed in the New York Times, and it had not been reviewed by any Connecticut papers. It was painted actually in Darien and Penticton Island. It was an important exhibit, but Connecticut people didn't seem to be aware of it.
Because it says in item number 7, how they would spend the money if they had a $15 million marketing campaign, and how they currently are spending their money. Currently, it's almost all digital and social, and this would be have multiple legs to the stool, so it'd be a more comprehensive type marketing campaign.
Not to dwell on still revolutionary, but I was on the part of a group that came up with that. It was an out-of-state marketing firm, needless to say, and many hours were spent coming up with still revolutionary. I wasn't thrilled with it, and it was probably cost the state certainly 5 figures to come up with this, and I could save you a lot of money. So much so close. Nails who we are and what we've got. So the thing that Hartford has, New Haven has, that New York and Boston don't have, we're close to New York and Boston and Rhode Island and Vermont, and we've got 1,000 things here.